Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. All right, get on in here. You are now in the Den. So, of course, this is my review recap for the show. All right, this is season 5, episode 8. The sweetest thing, honey. All right. Well, sweet thing. Okay, and of course we are basically getting another holiday episode. You know, Christmas of course was the first one, and now this is Valentine's Day. So we're seeing that Valentine's Day is bringing unexpected events, right, or developments, and we're basically seeing, who is it, you know, the dynamics between Tiff, Keisha, and Emmett, right? We're seeing Darnell and Jada, and that their day is not going the way that they wanted it to go. We're seeing Trig and Rashad hanging out. We're seeing Gemma and Jake talking, discussing, confessing to each other, you know, trying to work through their, you know, trials and tribulations that they just went through. And we seeing Kevin trying to figure out how to make things, you know, sweet for Miss Simone. And side note, I know everybody be like, Simone is weird and they ain't really caring for her, but listen, sometimes weird and different is the best thing, honey, okay? You ain't got to be like everybody else. And I'm loving their vibe, okay? And just in general, if anybody deserves to be happy and to win and have a win for once, it is Kevin. So I'm here for it. I love seeing him happy. That boy has been through so much stuff, okay? Put the grown-ups to the side for a minute. Just thinking about him and everything he's been through at such a young age. For him to be able to just chill right now, I'm all the way here for it. But like I said, wasn't much really happening here but us getting into Valentine's Day, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. So, you know, they all are shopping, right? We starting out by seeing balloons and, you know, cards and seeing everybody in different gift shops, pharmacies, you name it, right? We seeing Emmett, we seeing Sean, we seeing Victor, we seeing Rashad, we seeing Rob, we seeing Kevin. They're all looking for gifts, right? In the meantime, Darnell is walking around the store clueless, honey. He passing everybody else that's shopping for those kinds of gifts, and he over here just throwing some beer in one of the little carry, you know what I'm saying, carts. You know, Jake is in the store, and he's looking so sad and pitiful. Even he's trying to see if he can get a card for Gemma. You know, I had to laugh because when Emmett went to reach for the card, this particular store that he was in only had like one card left, and him and this guy's like looking back and forth at each other. And then the guy hurry up and reach for it first, and well, tried to reach for it first, but Emmett got it. And he's like, ha ha, now Emmett, you ain't have to be all extra like that, right? Dancing in the guy face and all of that. So then the guy basically takes the envelope because Emmett, you know what I'm saying, didn't get a chance to grab that first, and he crumbles up the envelope and throws it at him, and he's like, ha ha, back at you, okay, I done got you. So I was laughing at that, and then I didn't know why Emmett was worried about getting that envelope, because I'm like, you could have took any other envelope that was going to fit the card. But okay, you know, little slow there, Emmett, little slow. So, you know, I really did like that opening scene, and the fact that they was all trying to take their times, you know, to put the effort in to look for different stuff for their little loves, okay? And so, nonetheless, you know, we see then, like I said, Darnell behind is clueless, honey, all right? Everybody else around him is sitting here grabbing up different things, and he just steadily walking through, but he actually was looking sad, looking like it was something deep, you know, in his mind, like he was deep in thought, and he really wasn't paying attention to his surroundings. And when we see what goes down later, I'm assuming that that's what he was caught up in, right? And then some people just don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. I know me personally, to keep it real, I've never been a big person that really celebrated it like that, right? My husband still did, and he still brought me gifts sometimes because he felt like it. But I am somebody that believes you show love every day. You don't need a holiday to do it. I feel like all these holidays is about them making money. So I'm not necessarily mad if that's how, you know, a person feels, but I feel like y'all have to have a conversation about that so y'all could be on the same page and know what the other person's, you know, expectations of that is. And so, you know, nonetheless, like I said, you know, you have Jake go in this store and he picks up a card, and then he's just standing on the side, looking deep in thought, looking so sad and so down in the dumps. I'm like, oh man, like I said, Gemma and Jake is definitely not my favorites. I'm not a big fan of theirs at all, but I wanted to hug both of them in this episode. I will say that I know that they were not ready to have a baby, but it is still like, knowing that they went through something so heartbreaking and tragic, it did make me feel for them a little bit. So we had, Gemma. She's in this room. She's, pitiful in this bed, okay? And there's flowers everywhere. There's balloons. There's cards that are all saying get well soon. And Jake comes in there and, he's asking her how she's feeling today or whatever. And he's basically saying, happy Valentine's Day, because she just was still basically saying, she ain't feeling good and like just turned right back over or whatever, right? And he said, is there anything he can do for her? And she was like saying, I wish it was, but I have to sit in it and I have to feel all of it, right? And so when he says happy Valentine's Day, he gives her the card. She does get up and look at it and tell him thank you. And she does tell him happy Valentine's Day too. And I appreciated the fact that she was saying she have to sit in it and feel all of it, because you avoiding it and acting like nothing ain't happened, Eventually, you're going to have to come back and deal with it anyway. So I like the fact that she was trying her best to deal with it and feel what she was feeling. So Jake was saying that he's feeling it too. And she was saying she knows, okay? And then he said, how long are we going to feel this way? And she was like, that I don't know, okay? She was like, but you should go to school. I don't want you to be late. And so he basically ends up like turning around when he was about to go out the door. And he says, no, he's not going to go. And she was like, you don't have to do that. And he was like, no, but I am. You know what I'm saying? I want to. And I appreciated seeing Jake step up in this episode as well. And him being there, by her, okay? That shows that we get a little bit of growth inside of him too, okay? So then we had Darnell and Emmett moving these boxes in, okay? Keisha behind moving in, even though I don't think that is right. She doing it. And he was like, I got to make room for it and we got to figure it out because we in this together, whatever the case may be. And, Darnell was like, yeah, she got a lot of shit. So, basically Emmett says he's really trying to make this relationship work. He's trying to make changes or whatever. And so, Darnell basically says he feels the same way about his relationship with his mother. And then Emmett says, you better. So he tells Emmett that he wants to marry Jada. And Emmett is basically like, you serious? And he's like, as a heart attack, okay? I'm all in this. I want to be with your mother. And I want to do everything right and all of this good stuff. He says he's a changed man. And it was so interesting to me that when I was taking my notes, I had to put a star next to it because Emmett said people don't change. But in the meantime, Emmett, that's exactly what you've been doing. And that's exactly what you've been trying to do. So it was really funny to me that he was like, people don't change. And, he's changing. And so, but I could see and understand that Darnell has messed up so many times, right? He's way older than Emmett and he's been messing up way longer than him, right? Some people get it later than others. And so, Keisha comes in and says happy Valentine's Day, and Darnell is basically like, it's Valentine's Day? He was like, well, that's a white people holiday anyway, right? So he don't care. And Emmett was like, see what I'm saying? And Keisha basically says it's a day of love for all of us, right? So it's not just about white people or whatever. And Darnell was also telling Emmett that he has to trust him, and Emmett was kind of saying like, I don't know if I could do that. So, but I like the fact that they was having that conversation. So then when he leaves, because he's like, all right, I'm gonna have to try to go find a daggone gift now. Keisha basically was, thanking Emmett for helping her to get moved in or whatever. And he gives her, she tells him thank you for the card too. And she was asking why it was all crumbled up. He was like, oh, well, got a little messed up. But she says she was going to cherish it, okay, for the rest of her life. And so he tells her he done set up a little getaway from her. He done made reservations. She going to have this spa day. She going to get to be away. First she thought it was something where they was going to go together. And she was like, who's going to babysit the kids? And he was like, I am, okay? It's just you that's going. I want you to have this day. I don't want you to have nobody bothering you, not me or the kids. So she's like, oh, okay, thank you. When I come back, I will definitely, be doing some special things for you. And so they get to kissing or whatever the case may be, being all lovey-dovey in this honeymoon phase. So then we had, freaking Victor show up to Fatima house, and he's apologizing to her. He gives her a Valentine's Day card, and he tells her he didn't realize how much it really was gonna hurt to think about her with somebody else, right? And that he had no right to just pop up and all of that kind of stuff. And she was telling him that he don't have to apologize to her, and he was saying that he really likes her and he wants them to be able to build something, right? But, and she finished the sentence and was like, you can't do that right now. And he was like, no. And she was like, I've heard that before, right? So she don't want to go down that rabbit hole, which is understandable. And he says that he got some business to take care of later, but he really would like her to be his Valentine's Day for real, and he would like to see her after. And she said, you know what I'm saying, that she would think about it. And then when he tried to give her a kiss, you know, she was not here for it. And he was just saying, you know, he gonna hit her up later or whatever, okay? So, you know, we got Tiff at the house, and she's like, are you moving? And he's like, no. She was like, well, what's up with all these boxes? He was like, Keisha's moving in. And she was like, what? And you ain't telling me? He was like, you ain't telling me about Rob, you know, and I don't have to get your damn permission. So he was like, you know, right now she's going through tough times with her dorm, and we talked and we decided that it was good for her to move in. He was like, it's not even a thing about me and her, even though we are together. It's more of a thing of me being able to help her, and then she could help me out too. So she asked if, you know, what he doing for Valentine's Day. And I hate when a person asks you what you doing. Just come out and say what the heck you want. Don't be trying to question me about what I'm doing first, okay? That is just a pet peeve of mine. But come to find out, when he's like, wow, what's up? She says she want him to watch EJ, and he was like, nah, I'm already gonna have Ronnie and the other two. So she was like, well, Keisha can't help you, you know. And he's like, well, you know, actually Keisha's not gonna be here because I'm treating her to a spa day. So of course now she's talking about some, you know, you never did that for me. So he was like, you know, if you really need me and you don't have no other options, then hit me up and I'll, you know what I'm saying, watch him. I'll take him too. And she was like, that's okay. I think she said, you know, she would take him to her mom's or whatever. And she basically leave, of course, with another attitude. And so we have Lene, you know, and Kevin come in talking, and she's asking him what he got, you know, Simone for Valentine's Day. And Kevin was saying, you know, she was like, oh, let me guess, you know, you're going to point up at a star. So Kevin was like, no, actually, you know, I'm going to give her this certificate or whatever, right? Where he got a star named after her, or named, you know, yeah, gave the star her name. So she was like, well, he said, I know it's not big and flashy or whatever, but he was like, you know, she's not really into big and flashy or whatever the case may be. She don't care about things like that. And Lene says, all girls care. And he was like, well, do you? You know, because Lene's always being so hard. And she was like, yeah, I do if I had somebody I was into like that. So he was asking her, is she looking for anybody? And she was like, nah, not right now. I got too much things going on. Okay, keep that on the back burner. And so, you know, he says that if she ever needs him, he's there for her. And of course, she was telling him, you know, she knows that and she appreciates that, right? And so we continue going back and forth with Gemma and Jake having this conversation. You know, she tells him about the dream she had. He's asking her if she's happy about what happened. He's like, well, she's like, well, why would you say that? You know, getting that attitude, which is understandable. And he's like, I'm asking because I know at first you really didn't want to keep it. And then he asked, was it a boy or a girl in the dream? She's like, I don't know, what difference does it make? You know, now she's just pissed. So he was like, no matter what he say, he feel like he's wrong. And she just was telling him, like, nothing you say is going to really be able to, you know, make me feel better. Okay, so I can understand where both of them is coming from with that, right? Definitely understandable. So Rashad and Victor's at this table and they talking, and you know, he asking him what plans he got for Deja, what they gonna be doing, and he was like, well, I don't know. You know, Rashad, he ain't got much money and he ain't trying to do much. So he was like, it was between a card and dinner. He says he's thinking about taking her to Smokies. He had basically got a card and he had wrote the poem in it. He's keeping it simple. And Victor was like, nah, you gotta do more than that. You can't just be doing that. So Miss Tierra gonna talk about, you know, you should come out with us. And so Victor was like, well, who's fronting the bill? And she says, Duda. So he's over here like, oh, okay, then let's run that bill up. So Rashad is like, yo, y'all for real? Y'all serious? And they like, yeah, come on, you could come with us, but you do have to be dressed, you know what I'm saying, as a dress code. So he was like, oh, that's no problem because Deja had recently bought me suits. I could put on one of those. And Trig was trying to say he was going to come as he is. But she was like, no, what you going to do is put on one of these suits and dress the part. So basically, we gotta go, a double date that's gonna be going down with them. We see in Tiff still with this damn attitude, all right? She over here trying to, complain and get on Rob about this damn sauce, telling him he gonna burn it. And he's like, nah, I got it. But then it do start smoking up. And she like, shit, that's what I was talking about. Move, let me do it. So he's like, yo, what the hell is wrong with you? You been with this shit all day. Now he's coming back at her with an attitude. So she's like, oh, nothing. And he's like, yo, if you mad at Emmett, take it out on Emmett, okay? I'm not your punching bag. And I mean, listen, that's real. When you mad at one person, but you taking it out on another person, nobody's going to want to hear that. And they also not going to want to hear you continuously bringing up your ex too many times either. I don't care who it is, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be from his side or her end, nobody's going to want that. And so she's saying she not mad. She just don't like the way they move. And he's like, well, why the hell do you care so much? And she's like, because that's my ex and that's my girl. And he says shit happens. And she basically walks away, slams the stuff, and has an attitude. My thing is it's kind of sad because she really don't have no other friends. The only friend that she did get with recently, it seems like, is Keisha. And now you're with this guy that you're supposed to be in a relationship, and you want to vent to him about how you're feeling with your ex and to have an attitude, and you want him to agree and understand that you're feeling this way about them, but he's wanting you to be into him. So that's just not gonna mesh, okay? So that's just like a hot freaking mess. And so nonetheless, Darnell, he done stepped it up, all right? He tried to get Miss Jada dressed up and bring her out to go ahead and have this date. He's like, I don't know how I forgot about this. And Jada's basically knows him already. So she's like, because you hate it. And he's like, no, I don't. And she was like, yes, you do. You always have. You be saying as a white man's, holiday is a waste of money and all of that. And you could show love every day and whatever the case may be. And he was like, yeah, you right. I still feel that way. But he was like, knowing how much you like it or whatever, I'm still trying to come out and let us have a good time. You're going to have the best time today. I'm going to go all in for you. So she like, okay, cool. So in the midst of them trying to go and get a seat, they apparently bump into these old friends that they know from their high school days. And they want to join them. And she's like, oh, yeah, we could probably join y'all for a minute. And they saying, no, you could join us for, longer than that. They not taking no for an answer. And they laughing and having these jokes saying how nobody ever thought that they would make it, right? They was never supposed to last this long, and they surprised to still see them together. And they was like, well, actually, we did break up for a minute, but we rekindled and got back together, and things is going good between us. We didn't see Dre and Nina for the first time in a minute. They back on the scene, okay? They all dressed up. Nina looking cute in her dress. And she's like, ooh, baby, you looking good. Come on, let's go out. Then we all of a sudden seeing Nina say, them heels was too much. And Dre was like, I told you not to wear them. So she said, well, why don't we just go back to the house, relax, kick up our feet or whatever. Order some food, put on one of the old movies that we used to like watching. That's what Dre is saying to Nina. And she's like, yeah, now you talking my language. That sounds great. And so they're going to go ahead, and go back home. So we see Trig and, what is her name? Tierra, right? And then Rashad and Deja on this double date. Now, Trig is spending the whole damn night on his phone. Whereas Rashad and Deja's into each other. They looking at each other. They kissing each other. And Miss Tierra's busy looking at damn Rashad. And then he's telling Trig like, well, Victor, stay off your phone. Pay attention to this beautiful woman. And Victor saying he's working right now. This is business. And she was like, yeah, he's Mr. Workaholic. And then Deja was asking how long they've been together. And they both basically say two different things in their answer. And Rashad was like, y'all gonna have to get y'all story straight. And she was like, story? And he was like, oh, no, I just mean that, Victor be bad with dates or whatever, right? And they was asking them like, y'all seem so into it, like y'all take this, holiday seriously. But Deja was saying to them that, this is how we are every day. It ain't because of a holiday. They always do this, right? And then she picks up the glass to give this toast, and she basically gives the toast to a special kind of love, and was asking Rashad if he had anything to add into it. And he was like, no, just cheers, baby, to a special kind of love. And so she was already kind of seeing like eye contact coming back and forth between Rashad and Tierra, right? I think everybody was noticing it because, we have a moment when they get back to the house that Victor says something about it too. So then we got, excuse me, y'all. Then we got Tiff. She's still mad, okay? She gonna pout and she gonna fold her damn arms if she don't do nothing else, honey. She got the attitude because Rob is going out of town, right? And she's like, I'm so mad that you can't spend, Valentine's Day with me, because he was saying what's going on. And she was like, I'm mad that you're not going to be here, that you're leaving me on Valentine's Day. And so he basically was like, I had to do this. This is the only time that I could do it. I got to go ahead and take care of my business. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, oh, well, Emmett did something nice for Keisha. Every minute you keep throwing up Emmett's name. So Rob come out his face and he's like, yo, what the hell that got to do with me? I celebrate you every damn day, right? Now he got a daggone attitude. And I was like, all right, well, slow your roll, Rob, because he was getting kind of cute, coming out his face a little bit much with that part. But I do understand how that could irritate you and rub you the wrong way if every minute, for however long it's been now, a week or whatever, you bringing up this dude's, name every single freaking minute of the damn day. And so Keisha, at the same time, when he get ready to, start getting himself together to leave, and sending her a message, because she chilling back in the daggone, hotel suite, watching, waiting to exhale, laughing, drinking her champagne. And I guess she thinks about, tips. So she sends a message like, do you think we could get together and talk, right? Do you have any free time? And then we seeing Rob, he leaving, and, Tiff get up and basically ready to, give him a little fake little hug as he leaving out the door, whatever. And she sit down on the stairs, and first she was about to be like, I'm enjoying my Valentine's Day, but then she actually puts, where? And so then we seeing Kevin and Simone, they out on their date, and he was like, I got you a little something for Valentine's Day. She was like, oh man, you didn't have to do that. He was like, I knew you was gonna say that, but this is more symbolic, okay? So she's like, all right. He gives it to her, and she was like, wow, you named a star after me. She's like, that's amazing. She was like, I didn't get you anything. He told her presence is a gift. So Kevin is already dropping that game, okay? She was happy with that and smiling. So, of course, we getting this back and forth with Gemma and them, and we see them again and see Gemma saying she don't think she'll ever be happy. Jake was saying he don't think he will either. We then get Bakari, okay, and Papa talking, and Bakari was ready to smoke in Papa's house, and he's like, yo, you can't be doing that in here. And he was like, your father's a priest, right? And he was like, yes, he is, and he don't play that. And so, he was basically saying, like, he just so stressed. That's why he want to smoke. And Papa was like, yeah, I could see that this is weighing on you and that you're feeling bad or whatever. And he was like, I am. He was like, but at the same time, that wasn't my fault. I didn't make, her lose her baby. And he was like, well, you may not have specifically made her lose the baby, but your actions did lead up to that, because you got into the fight and the gun went off and all of that. That's what made the people run, and Gemma did get caught in the stampede, and it did cause her to lose her baby. So he was like, you should basically apologize to her and Jake. He talking about something he don't know about all of that or whatever. But then he was saying he had a crush because Papa was asking him who's he into, that he don't have nobody that he love, and he started smiling and blushing and all of that. So that was kind of a different side of Bakari. And also just seeing him feeling bad was a different side of him, right? And so, he was saying that he should go ahead and make a secret admirer card for the person, right? And he went and told him who it was. And he was asking Papa, could he write it out for him? And he says, I'll tell you what, if I do write it out for you, then you have to promise that you're going to go and apologize. And he says, yeah, I don't know how they feel about that. I don't know how they, if they're going to want to hear that. I see where they're trying to go with this whole Bakari situation, but I don't know. Okay. Guess we just got to keep our eyes out and wait. So nonetheless, we had this couple with Jada and Darnell. And it just seemed like they wanted them to stick around so they could bash them and remind them of every bad thing they ever did in damn life, okay? They talking about, oh yeah, that's when he cheated on you with your cousin. That's when he had the car accident. He messed up your father's car. Every bad thing that they could say, oh, too bad you had to miss your prom. He was locked up and this, that, and the third. And so you could tell that Darnell was starting to feel like complete crap, and Jada basically was saying, we living in the present, we living with what we dealing with now. We don't want to stay stuck in the past. The past is the past. We moved on from that. And she basically was saying, yeah, we been through some shit, but we still standing. Me, I would have already got up and left them damn people. I would not have still been standing there listening to that, right? And they like, you ain't got to remind us. We remember everything that happened, even though it was one part that they said that Darnell was like, I don't remember that. But then when she was saying that her and Jada had put sugar in his tank, he was like, now that I do remember, right? And so, but you could tell he was just sad and he was just over it with this daggone couple, okay? And so then we had Tiff and Keisha finally sitting down what they should have been there. They drinking this champagne, of course Keisha's like, this is awkward. And Tiff is basically like, yeah, you could say that again, like it damn sure is, right? And Keisha was saying she didn't know what to say. So Tiff was like, well, how long has it been? Of course, that's going to be the first question she going to want to know. Like, how long y'all been together? Or when did this start? And Keisha was saying not long. And then she was like, okay, when exactly was it? And Keisha going to talk about some, I don't know. I can't tell you the specific date now. Keisha, girl, you know the damn date. So let's not play there. But, Tiff just was like, oh, how convenient. So then Keisha was like, well, what do you expect us to do? How we feel so you could feel better? And Tiff was like, yeah, no, you really don't, Tiff. Let's not play either. Let's all be real and be grown about all of this. And let's all take accountability for all of our actions, right? That's my feeling on it. And so she was like, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but sooner or later, you're going to have to get used to this. And Tiff basically was telling her she's not going to get used to it. And she was like, how do you know that he wouldn't do me like he did you? And she basically was like, because he's changed. So, of course, as soon as she said that, that's like a light bulb done went off. And, Tiff had was she gonna stay here and try to play a game. So when Keisha was saying give him time to feel normal, like I said, Tiff is like, no, I don't think I want to. And she basically leaves. We see Andre and Nina going down memory lane with their wedding. They're going to watch their wedding video. They kissing and hugging. Dre basically asks her, do she still choose her? And Nina says, I do. And then they go ahead and they start kissing and everything like that and have, a good night for them. So Dre and Jada night, though it didn't go as planned, and Darnell and his feelings, he moping and he's saying how many times he messed up and how bad he messed up, and he's apologizing to Jada, and he says, he ain't messing up no more chances, okay? He's not gonna mess up this chance. And Jada was telling him, well, you done had about 17 chances, and he said, well, I'm not messing up none of the chances that I have, okay? And he seems like he's serious and he being sincere about it this time, Victor, Rashad comes his behind upstairs, y'all, and tells Tierra that she looks good enough to eat. So now Victor stepped out and was like, yeah, she do look good. And he was like, and why don't you go downstairs, with your Valentine? And so Rashad like, okay, no problem, damn. And he gets whatever he was getting out of the refrigerator, and he go downstairs, and Deja's right there packing up all her stuff. Now, for a minute there, I'm thinking maybe she's seen some of the pictures on Rashad's phone or something like that, because we know a couple episodes back, Mr. Rashad was looking at some pictures, but no, she basically heard him when he was telling this chick, that she looked good enough to eat, and she's pissed about that. And I'm like, Rashad, really? You didn't have the sense God gave a roach? Like, why would you go upstairs and say something like that loud where she could hear, knowing that she's right downstairs? That was very disrespectful, okay? I agree with Deja 100%. She was like, you never tell another woman she looked good enough to eat while your woman is sitting there, right? But then, of course, Deja plays herself a little bit, too, because in the midst of the argument, she's like, I bought you all those suits that you looking good in, and that's the only reason why she's even looking your way. Had I not bought them, she wouldn't even be looking at you. And, all the different stuff that I did and I put into you. So now Rashad getting mad, and he's like, wait, hold up now. You know what I'm saying? You ain't do that much for me. or whatever the case may be. Don't get cute. I don't owe you shit. You know what I'm saying? You sounding like you done bought me or something, right? And I knew that probably was going to come up in one way or another. And then, he was like, I thought you really was into me. And she was like, I was. She was like, I took a chance on you, even though, she was fully against that in the beginning. And she was always honest of it. And she was like, look what happened. And so she went storming off and left. And Rashad behind ain't try to go after her, nothing. He went and sat his behind right back down. And I'm like, really, Rashad? Really? You know you was wrong, because even like Victor checked him, but when Victor even checked him, I felt like it was some jealousy coming off of Victor more so than him just sending him down there, because it's like, yo, your girl is down there waiting for you. Maybe it was that too, but I felt like I was feeling a little jealousy coming off of him. And then he was even asking her like, well, what's your plans? Where you getting ready to go, right? And obviously she was trying to go be with Rosalind. Okay, they both already knew they had their other plans. And Trig was trying to go see Fatima or whatever. So it was like, they little thing they had for the night was over. But child, that was messy, okay? And so, of course she told him she regretted giving him a chance and she left. So we get a knock at the damn door. Emmett here minding his damn business with the kids or whatever. And he's opening up the door like, Tiff, what's up? What you doing here, okay? Tiff raggedy behind. And so she's like, oh, I wanted to see you. He was like, about what? She was like, about us. And so he was like, okay, well, you said we was done, And she took him out, come on, sit down here. And he was like, no, I don't want to sit down. She was like, please just sit down. So he come and he sit, and she's like, oh, you still love me. And he was like, of course I love you. I'm always going to love you. You know what I'm saying? We got our son together, whatever the case may be, right? Nothing could change that. She gonna try to lean over and kiss him. He moved. He's like, I told you I'm with Keisha now. Taking down her sweater is never stopped you before. He says, I know, but I'm a changed man. And now, what I'm saying, stuff is different. And I told you I'm in a relationship. So now, because he turned her down, she's basically in her feelings. She get up and proceeds to walk away and says, oh, you could be faithful to Keisha, but not to me. Yes, Tiff. I'm sorry, because he tried with you, sweetie. He tried with you. It's not like he didn't try. He begged you. He tried with you. He told you he was ready. He told you he didn't want to be in an open marriage. He wanted it to be just y'all, that he was all in. It was all or nothing. He admitted everything to you. You made your choice, boo. So you got to deal with it. You got to step in that. You got to be accountable for that. To me, even though Tiff is always going to love him and he's always going to love Tiff, honestly, I don't think she's in love with him. And I don't even think it was about her really wanting him. It was about being able to prove a point and hurt Keisha back in the way that she feels that Keisha hurt her. Mind you, not even taking into consideration that you supposed to be in a whole relationship yourself with Rob, and you done told him that you okay with y'all being exclusive and you not sleeping with nobody else and all of that. Okay, so you being messy all around because you not even taking into account the effect that could have on him and the blowback on him when you staying over there in his daggone house, but now coming over here to damn Emmett. None of that is crossing your mind, and you over here worried about, oh, you could be faithful to Keisha and not to me. You had the opportunity for him to be faithful to you, and you did not want it. So I know I'm supposed to feel bad for Tiff, but I don't. I don't feel it. All I feel is irritated with Tiff, especially last week, how she was acting all stupid in front of the teacher and all of that. All Tiff's behavior has been giving me is childish, okay, playing games, foolery, and fuckery. Excuse my language. But that's what Tiff has been giving me. Tiff has not been giving me anything of a grown woman trying to sit down and work things out and talk things out. Whether we looking at her relationship with Emmett or whether we looking at her relationship with Rob, that's what it gives me. Even if you take the whole Keisha situation out of the equation, that's what it gives me. So I don't feel sorry for her. And I'm glad Emmett stood his ground. I'm glad that he is proving that he's growing up and that he is changing. Go Emmett. Okay, You know what that's called? That's called growth. Okay, so I'm here for it. All right. And so anyway, when she gets home, come to find out, Mr. Rob talking about he done canceled flights and switched them around and all of that to be here with her. You know, he got some daggone lights going. He got candles. He got freaking dinner. He got music and all of that laid out for her. And he's asking her where she coming from. And of course she lies. I mean, half lie, right? Because she did freaking go and see Keisha, but we know she wasn't coming from there, right? And he's like, oh, that's good. I'm glad y'all talked. I'm glad y'all put that behind y'all and you went ahead and handled that. You know what I'm saying? How did it go? She's saying she glad too. He's like, oh, let's sit down and eat this food. He sits down talking about happy Valentine's Day, and she's like, happy Valentine's Day to you too, being mad freaking phony with this phony ass smile. And I'm like, I see Keisha ending up by herself. That's what I see. I see her losing Rob, and I see her losing damn Emmett. Well, she already lost Rob, Emmett, but I see her losing Rob next. Okay, but nonetheless, you know, Victor basically is sitting at this dinner with Fatima. He telling her he's sorry again, you know, and that it's not gonna always be this way, right? He will eventually be able to be with her, right? And he basically says that you know, a toast to no more secrets, right? And then we get Tierra creeping down the damn stairs. Not really creeping because she mad loud. You know, Rashad was sleeping. He wake up. He grabbing the bat because he's talking about he thought it was a damn burglar. And it's her standing there. And then she going to talk about where's Deja. I said, can we stop with everybody being so freaking fake and phony? First of all, Deja was loud as hell and you was still sitting right upstairs in that kitchen. So I know you know she left hours ago because why would you even be coming down there if you thought damn Deja was still there? You know, and then he telling her how she left from a couple of hours ago, and she basically was like, well, can we hang out together since we both basically by ourselves? And he's like, for real? She was like, yeah, you know, I got stood up by Rosalind or whatever. And so then she kissed him and he like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I got a situation going on. And she says, so do I. And they start kissing. I said, Rashad, I just was giving you your props. I just was saying how you was doing so much better and had so much growth in your character. And you just went poof, just like that. Between you and Tiff. I don't know if Tiff was already that way, but honey, y'all was the ones that don't have the growth right now. Y'all going backwards, okay? Rewind. That's what y'all doing. And so basically, you know, we had Gemma's dad telling her, you know, everything happens for a reason. She was like, you always say that when you don't know, you know what I'm saying, nothing else to say. That's true. That is a very known saying. And so he was saying, well, one thing I do know is that I'm always going to have your back and always going to be there for you. And it's like, okay, normal for you to feel afraid. But what you do, you know what I'm saying, have to know is that no matter what, I got your back and you will not be there alone, you know. And, you know, Jake comes in. Here he coming back again, bringing her some juice, you know, look like some cookies or something he brought her. And she was just telling him, like, she thinks she will never be the same again. And he was like, neither will I, and they won't. This is going to change them. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to eventually be breaking up, okay? But, you know, it is what it is. And I do like how they was handling the situation. And then Papa drops off this, you know, card. Of course, it was to Lene. Nobody is shocked. He have a crush on her. She asking, who is this from? He's like, I can't tell you, okay? I just could tell you that you got this secret admirer that like you a lot. She was like, well, nice handwriting. Did you write the card? He was like, I did write the card, but I'm not the person that's behind it. And so here come Bakari walking in and he says, happy Valentine's Day. And she tells him that he's late. And he was like, I know, I'm sorry about that or whatever. And he was saying, well, can I take you out? So then, Papa was like, well, you gotta go and apologize to Gemma and Jake first. And she tells him, yeah, well, you go handle that first, because she told him, I know what you did. And he was like, yeah, but I didn't mean to do it. She was like, yeah, I know that too. And so she told him, well, if you go ahead and apologize to them, you know, take care of that first. And when you're finished with that, then we could go out. And so he says, oh, word. And he's like, all right, see you later, looking a little happy. I don't know how that's going to go, y'all. I think it might be too soon. I don't think she's going to be ready. You know, they're going to be ready to be accepting no apologies right now, okay? And, you know, the last thing we got was basically Emmett going knocking at the door, telling his dad, you know, giving him permission, like, yes, you can marry you know, my mom. And he's like, what made you change your mind, or whatever the case may be? And he basically was like, because I changed. And then, you know, Darnell like, mad confused or whatever, like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you know, I just realized, he was like, Tiff tried to come over and sleep with me. So of course he hurry up and push him out the door, because he didn't want, you know, his mom to hear what was going on. And he was like, what happened? Did you do it? And he's like, no, that's the whole thing. I didn't. I told her no. And so he was like, all right, now, you know, I'm proud of you. You are changing. And so, you know, he tells him that he's giving him the permission now, right? He do have his blessing to go ahead and marry his mom, and he better do right. And then, you know, he's telling Emmett, like, that means a lot to me. He was like, now I'm really excited and ready to do it, because he was asking him if he's scared. And he's like, nah, now I'm ready to go with this, right? And he basically tells Emmett that he needs to tell Keisha. So Emmett is like, no, why the hell would I tell her? He was like, nah, I don't want to do that. He was like, no, you have to, son. He was like, one, you know, you gotta move with this relationship forward being honest, and two, also to let her know that you really did change and you really are committed to this. And then Emmett was like, I see what you saying, and they gave a pound. Now, I love the vibe, I love the growth, I love them bonding, I love them talking to each other, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with Darnell on this telling the truth thing, honey, because I don't know what's supposed to be the reaction and what you're supposed to get out of this now. Like, is Keisha supposed to get mad at Tiff because she went back over there now? I don't know, y'all, but nonetheless, you know, we do see Jada come in, and Darnell got the house decked out with these balloons. You know, they both looking cute. They got their outfits on. She like, what is all of this? What is going on, Darnell? Okay. And he is like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I don't want no more time passing by. He gets down on that knee. He pull that ring out. He's like, you know, I messed up so many times. This is my chance to make it right and to be with you, you know what I'm saying, from this moment forward. I ain't gonna be missing out on no more time. Will you marry me? And she's like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And then he was like, put this ring on, you know, see if it fits. And she's like, okay. And she puts it on, it fits. She's like, yes, okay. And then they kissy and lovey-dovey. And Darnell and Jada, do they get their happy ending, y'all? I don't know. But put it in the comments. Tell me what you think about all this, y'all. Okay, what you like, what you didn't like. Y'all know how we do. Let's discuss, let's discuss, let's discuss. What you thinking about Tiff? Who's right, who's wrong? Who, you know what I'm saying? Who you don't know, who you neutral with. Put it all in the comments. You know, like, comment, share, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe if you are so inclined, honey. Okay, till next time. Toodaloo.